Hello, Grumpy Old Fart here. Uh, I do a lot of UFO stuff now, UFO videos about past UFO encounters, things that have happened in the past. Because here about a month ago, maybe a little longer, the United States Navy announced that some video and gun camera footage from some of their fighters and some other aircraft off the carrier Nimitz was actually genuine. Real UFO footage from Navy airplanes by Navy pilots, and it was genuine. It was real. So now we have to go back and look at these things with an air of credulity, because if the Navy says they're real, then all the people who've been seeing UFOs, I'm not saying they're all correct or all, they're all correct in what they're claiming they saw. They may be mistaken. But at least some of them are correct. Some of them are right. Okay? They're actually seeing UFOs. So, towards that end, there's people who are asking me questions about, well, why isn't the government, investigating them? Well, they have been. I did a video the other day about Project Sign, Grudge, and Blue Book, which were the official programs. Now, there's another group with the government that was investigating these. Their sphere, I guess, for lack of a better word, was crash retrieval. They were trying to get technology and air and spacecraft, salvaging them from crashed UFOs. A lot like the one from 1947 in Roswell. And there's others, by the way. That's not the only crash, at least reported crash. Now, the one I'm talking about now is a UFO study group called Majestic 12, or MJ12. And it was a group of scientists, military leaders, and government officials. And they were formed by order of the President of the United States, Harry S. Truman, back in 1947. He signed the order. They were to be a committee to facilitate recovery and investigation of alien spacecraft. We wanted their technology. We wanted it bad, because at the time we were in the middle of the Cold War, and everybody's afraid of the communists, which, I think I still am. But my point is, a lot of people think that this group didn't exist, and it is possible that it didn't. I'm not saying this is absolutely accurate. There were some a list of members, and on this list there was a lot of names I didn't recognize, but some of it I did. Dr. Vannevar Bush worked on the Manhattan Project. Secretary of Defense James Forstall. General Nathan Twining, who was instrumental in starting Sign, Grudge, and I forget which one came first, Sign or Grudge, but anyway, Sign, Grudge, and Blue Book. Okay, he's the one that started all that. And then General Hoyt S. Vandenberg, who's one of the most famous generals in history. He's got a military base named after him. A very, very, very famous general. But anyway, these names were on the list of people who were supposedly in this MJ12 group. And they were named Majestic 12 because, according to some people in the ufology field, there's orders of security clearances, and the very top one is Majestic. So in order to get on this list, you had to have Majestic clearance. Hence, Majestic 12, because there's only 12 people that had this clearance. That's my understanding. Now, again, a lot of people say this group didn't exist, and it's a possibility that it didn't. But here's something that you need to consider. Many documents have been found connected to MJ12, most of which have been debunked. They're saying it couldn't have been right because the wording wasn't used, or the wording from back then wasn't the wording that they used back when these documents were supposedly written didn't match the wording in the documents that they found. The typesetting was wrong. The paper was wrong. The phrasing was wrong. They have a lot of ways of debunking government documents, and some of them are pretty accurate. Now, were all of these documents fake? I don't know. I mean, I've not seen them. I've never held them in my hand, so I don't know. But in 1954, somebody put out a booklet, and this booklet has been authenticated by people who were actually in the typesetting, the government typesetting office. Okay, the apparently something with the Z caused it to raise in the typesetting, and it's in this pamphlet. And the pamphlet I'm talking about is restricted SOM 1-01, Psalm 101. And it's from the Majestic 12 Group Special Operations Manual, SOM, Psalm, Special Operations Manual. In this manual, it's listed right on the front. It says extraterrestrial entities and technology recovery and disposal. That's on the front. Now, in this, it details how to do it. It's my personal opinion that in 1947, when the Roswell crash happened, the American government and the American military was not prepared for it. They did their best to try to, to collect it all up and keep it all secret and everything, but they did a really crappy job of it. That's my opinion. I have other opinions, but for this, on this subject, that's the pertinent information there. So, this manual from 1954, which came out obviously after the 47 incident, they said, okay, if this is going to start happening, we got to find ways and rules to do this right. So they put out this manual. Okay? Now, here's an interesting part. Chapter 5 in that manual deals with EBEs, extraterrestrial biological entities. Nobody has been able to debunk this booklet. Okay? The EBEs they're talking about are possibly extraterrestrials that are contacting our government, contacting some of our military people, interacting with our military somehow. There have been rumors, stories that factions of our government have treaties with these extraterrestrial beings. And I'm going to talk about a guy here in the future named Phil Schneider, and another guy, CIA agent, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But my point is, this SOM 101 has not been debunked. Nobody can debunk it that I'm aware of. As far as I know, it's a valid U.S. document. So if the U.S. has a document from Majestic 12 detailing how to recover and dispose of extraterrestrial entities and their technology, you gotta consider the possibility that the U.S. government's taking it seriously, and this MJ12 did exist. That's all I'm saying. So the people involved in MJ12 were some serious people. These aren't, this isn't just a group of guys hanging out drinking beer and talking about aliens. This is one of them worked on the Manhattan Project to develop the nuclear bombs. The A-bomb. One of them is the Secretary of Defense of the United States. And there's two generals, one of which started projects Sign, Grudge, and Blue Book to collect data on UFOs. And then, of course, General Hoyt Vandenberg, who is one of the most famous generals in American history. So, this isn't a chintzy group. The people involved in this are high-ranking, high-powered individuals. So, again, we don't know if this is real or not, but the documentation with Psalm 101 suggests that it was. Now, what their scope is, how powerful they are, what their capabilities are, and what they found, we don't know. But at least we know they were looking at it. Okay? I mean, they weren't throwing us to the wind, folks. They are involved in the fight, as it were. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.